Don't say you down. You gotta stand up and fight. Yeah. Don't say you down. You gotta stand up and fight. Oh, you got to stand up. Stand up and fight. Oh, you got. Oh, you got to stand up. Oh, you got to stand up. Gotta stand up. Oh, you got to stand up. Oh, you got to stand up. Don't say you down. You gotta stand up and fight. Got to stand up. Don't say you down. Stand up and fight. Oh, you got. Gotta stand up. Oh, you gotta stand up.
Yay. Should have done this already. Oops. There we go. Yay. There we go. And then I can just there we go. I've got an alternative. We can flip shit around. Hee hee. Apparently, there's been some hubbub. A bunch of conservatives latched on to just one tiny segment of this clip, and Stavros himself has been making comments about how or at least he made a tweet about how the whole thing should be viewed.
Nice to be here. This is sick. Love Chicago. Great town. Really nice town. Kind of place where a fat man is respected in this town. You know what I mean? You guys have fat authority figures in this city. A fat man in a suit. That, you know what I mean? It's not played for comedic effect. Or no, he's a judge in Chicago.
Yeah.
I love it, dude. The kind of place you guys probably use the word pipsqueak a lot. You know what I mean? Like, a skinny man, that's the fucking piece of shit in Chicago. Pencil neck. You probably call people pencil neck. What a great place. Yeah, it's nice. I'm sad your hilarious little mayor's got to go away. That sucks. Just visually one of the funniest people of all time. Really awesome. You'd think somebody that looks like that would have to be competent.
This shit is really good. You want some?
You know what I mean? Like, you see someone like that, you're like, well, obviously she must be the best politician and mayor of all time. You gotta be, like, technically a savant to reach this high a level. Surely you can't be just a horrendous mayor and look that funny as well. Like, on paper, okay, for example, I have a sexy doctor, right? My doctor's he's a piece of ass, I'll be honest. And I go to the doctor, and I was like, hey, I'm not feeling great. I'm like, can I just do, like, a physical? He's like, yeah, great. And so I'm like, all right, can you give me the results? He's like, no problem, I'll call you. It's like, all right, that's kind of weird, you're gonna call me? So he calls me, and he's like, you're all good. And I'm like, what? What do you mean I'm all good? Can I see like a printout? He's like, nah, you're all set, no worries. No problem. So I'm like, come on, something's up. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, he's sexy, right? A sexy person doesn't have to be good, right? They get by, right? Like, I want a fucked up look. Like, if you had to pick a doctor, you would want someone who is, honestly, you would pick somebody that has gone through adversity, right? You would pick a little bug-eyed black lesbian. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would pick someone who society treats bad. Because you'd think if she can get through med school, she must be the best doctor of all time. And that's what I would think in terms of politics as well, right? And then shout out to Lori Lightfoot, just like, nah, you can be like ugly and fucking bad at your job and succeed. So, in many ways, I'm sad to see her go as like a scion for the stupidest and ugliest in society.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh shit! Oh
you got a
shit!
Greek guy running for me. He seems like the one not to vote for. From what I've been here for like a couple days, I'm like, nah, I don't trust that Greek. That guy's. There's no way a Greek business. I don't know. Like, just off of what I know about Greek businessmen, you don't want that guy running your city. He's gonna use the fucking city funds to add like an addition to his house. He's gonna take like special ed funds and build a pool. You know what I mean? You don't want a Greek businessman being your mayor. You know what I'm saying? No 15-year-old hostess is safe if a Greek businessman. That's a city. You let a fucking old Greek guy in your town, he is sexually harassing everyone.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh shit!
I didn't know that Michael Savage is still around. I haven't been listening to radio. He may still be. People don't know this guy's history because he's an old-timey radio guy. He actually had a show on MSNBC back in the early aughts.
What was that when Tucker had his show on MSNBC?
Yeah, I think it was even before Tucker.
Wow.
Oh,
and he is one of the most bigoted guys that you can imagine. This was what, and he was on talk radio. It was, he still may be. But Limbaugh, Savage, Levin, Sean Hannity, Savage.
They're not going to work on AOC because she's got so much clout and she's kind of such a celebrity. She's so beloved by Hollywood. Bowman didn't have any of those things. But I mean, let's just say what they really are. I mean, this is the Marxist group. These are the communists in Congress. And I mean, that's why Bernie's there. And sure, hating the Jews right now is the fashionable thing in this group. But what they believe is so much more vile and dangerous than that. And they're spreading that rapidly. And they get so much attention from the media because the media is so stupid. They love having these people on, and it's all of them. It's the Rashida Tlaib, and it's the Ilhan, and it's the Cory Bush, and it's all of these. I mean, they're insufferable people. They're very unintelligent, and they're beloved by the media that just thinks it's so sexy to be communist.
I mean, it's just so funny. He's like, ooh, hating the Jews is so cool. Here, let me follow that up with some racist shit. Some blatantly racist shit.
The capitalist country.
But I mean, here's the thing. This is something you will discover on the right. Nobody on the right has any actual talent or even any intelligence. Like all of these people, this dude, whoever the fuck he is, I don't even know what his name is. But the people on Newsmax, the anchors on Fox News, Daily Wire, all of these places. None of these people is objectively intelligent. They all have their jobs and their careers because they're willing to be openly racist. And that gins up their audience because they have a target audience.
Well, Bernie Sanders is the head of the snake of that organization. We all know that. He's the one who trained these puppets.
Let me go after the Jewish guy, right? Right, Savage?
To speak the way they speak. They are naked and absolute Bolsheviks, if you want to call them. Communist, Bolshevik, it doesn't really matter. If they had the power, they would put you and me in a re-education camp or execute us. That's
Bolsheviks?
who these Bolsheviks are. But the worst of them all is Bernie Sanders. I have been on to him since he came along.
Oh my God.
Bernie Sanders brainwashed these
I
people.
had a guy a MAGA account on Twitter earlier called me a KIKE, kept calling me shit skin because, well, they were afraid, and they admitted they were afraid to type out the N-word that they wanted to use. Claimed they were a Confederate. I said, you're a Nazi. I said, no, I'm a Confederate.
Bernie Sanders looks like a benign Jewish grandfather in a crumpled suit with a tuna fish stain on his lapel from riding the subway and not having enough money to buy a hot dog on a cart. But this man is a vile, evil American of the worst kind, Bernie Sanders. We shouldn't.
And this is something you'll notice that is super prevalent on the right. Jewish descent, Jewish sounding name, if you're not blindly, fiercely, and the thing is, if you have any type of power and authority and you're not chumming it up with the right, they will call you evil and they will accuse you of manipulating things. Basically, all the Jewish tropes that the Nazis employed. They'll go through every single one of them.
Lose the focus on who is behind these people. It's Bernie Sanders. He's worthy of our attention and our contempt.
Pause it.
But
I just want to make it clear what's going on here. Rob Schmidt is mad because he knows that, like, our folks want to hear more about the quality of the people that we're talking about. Let's put it this way. My audience likes a darker vision of who the enemy is, if you know what I mean.
Well, you know what's disgusting but also fascinating about this is we talked about the Great Replacement Theory, which is an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about how the Jewish people are orchestrating all of these migrants to come into the country, and because these white supremacists can't think that like black people or Latino people are doing anything
are smart enough
to do it on their own.
Yeah.
And it's the Jews that have to be the puppet master. He's doing the exact same thing about the squad. He's saying Bernie Sanders, the Jewish person,
I brainwashed them. I made some community access videos about Eugene Debs, and I forced them to watch them in the 80s.
Like AOC and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar are all the people that the puppet master is brainwashing. And I also just have to be like, Rashida Tlaib doesn't do any media. What is he talking about? I don't think I've ever seen her do a cable hit one time, but
the focus on who is behind these people. It's Bernie Sanders. He's worthy of our attention and our contempt. But he certainly is not up for re-election. Here's a man who espouses hatred for capitalism and owns 3 or 4 houses that we know of. His wife bankrupted a college in Vermont and then walked off with a big amount of money. These are gangsters. These are classic Bolshevik gangsters.
And they're good
very much like their boss in the White House, who you very clearly spoke about so succinctly in 2 segments ago. So we're dealing with criminals who are also Bolsheviks, and they're very dangerous. So we can celebrate, yes, Bowman is gone. The ghetto thug is gone. He's probably have a great career on MSNBC. Tomorrow, the paper was probably waiting for him. I don't think he'll be hired by Newsmax. I suspect he's not going to be a competitor for this slot.
It would make some great debates, though. We could maybe get him as a contributor and just talk some trash.
Yeah, for sure.
what a horrible person.
The ghetto thug.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means by that.
Kind of says everything about.
I think he means ghetto thug.
Yeah. Kind of says everything about the right wing's cynical use of anti-Semitism to attack people being critical of Israel right now. Because Rob Schmidt opened that segment saying how they hate all the Jews, the squad, and then Michael Savage goes in to say how the Bernie Sanders is a puppet master who is manipulating all the members of the squad.
And
then that racist comment about
extremely anti-black comment.
Yeah. BRB forever reminds me that Michael Savage's real name is Michael Wiener.
Sophia Hutchins implies black people are not bright. You just look at this.
Just because you're black, you're not a DEI hire, or uh,
What's wrong with
uh, uh, you don't bring value. But
what? Who is there is something wrong with her brain, but also she, oh my God.
a lot of these people you can.
Oh my God. Y'all, oh God, I hate to say this, but look at her. She pays her plastic surgeon with cocaine.
See, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. I just want to make clear, not all black people are DEI hires or minorities are DEI hires.
With millions watching and many people benefiting.
Her brain is, listen, her brain is dead. While I'm trying to insult
you
people,
don't bring value.
my brain just
But a lot of these people you can
disconnects.
see, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer. I just want to make clear.
Someone who I mean, this person's working with like 2 IQ points. I mean, how are you going to try to say someone else isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer when it's like your brain just like shut down for a solid like fucking 2-3 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, so she's always been dumb. Okay, and yeah. Oh my God, she is like. Oh my God. So like 68 and 21. Oh my God. Is that her? Yeah. So this was at the beginning of the, and see that right there is when she was looking her best. She's, there is a point where like it's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Stop. That doesn't I don't know.
Not all black people are DEI hires or minorities are DEI hires.
With millions watching and many
Fundraising, but 2024 surrogate. Look at who your surrogate is now. Are you proud? He looks proud. Sophia Hutchins, frequent guest at Trump Properties fundraising bundler, log cabin Republicans board member, and Caitlyn Jenner's manager. recently attacked Black people in an Instagram live, claiming that a lot of these people aren't smart.
Because fat slob Alvin Bragg couldn't prosecute a case if he wanted to, because he's such a fat slob DEI product of Harvard. So I'm furious as an American. Thoughts on Bonnie, not Fannie, Bonnie Willis. Again, another DEI elected Democrat prosecutor. So my thoughts on Bonnie are no different than my thoughts.
You're not having any thoughts. This person is not producing anything that qualifies as an actual thought. It's just throwing out insults. Objectively dumb ones, like something a small child. I mean, not even sophisticated insults. The fat slob DEI, ha ha. Ha ha, they're so dumb. I called them dumb. Isn't that funny? I called them dumb. It's such a clever joke. Oh my God. Clearly, you're just a trophy girlfriend.
Parents and leaders at the Atlanta Drum Academy say they were shocked when someone called police on their Saturday practice at a Fulton County park. Fox 5's Kim Leffler spoke to the executive director about what happened.
The executive director of the Atlanta Drum Academy says what happened here on Saturday is a clear example of the need for their own rehearsal space. Moments after this Atlanta Drum Academy rehearsal started at McCurry Park in Fayette County Saturday afternoon, James Riles says someone called police to the park. He says the officer told them they needed a permit to practice there, which he didn't realize.
The policeman, he was real nice, so it wasn't any bickering going back and forth. It was just the fact that somebody called the police on our kids, and the only thing we were doing was playing drums and living life.
Riles says they normally practice at a karate business in Riverdale owned by one of his students' parents. But when that's not available, they have to find another place to play.
They want millions of dollars just to hold these spaces that nobody's even using. That's the biggest challenge, that everything just costs so much.
The Atlanta Drum Academy started in 2011 and currently has 65 students.
And you got white people to blame for that.
Some as young as 3 years old.
We've probably had 10 performances in the month of June alone, and we're getting ready to go for another performance tomorrow.
He says they're continuing to look for a permanent rehearsal space so something like what happened Saturday doesn't happen again.
It was almost 40 kids out there, and that's 40 kids that weren't in the street getting in trouble doing other things.
Exactly.
For more information on how you can help, head to our website, Fox 5.
Exactly, but people with pasty skin like mine want to make an issue of every whiny-ass little thing when they see black and brown people. Oh my God, they talk out both sides of their mouth. Got to get the kids off the street, so you get the kids off the street. No, not like that. Pathetic.
Let's put some LSD in a coffee. In the afternoon, we'll chug all the beer. In the evening, we'll drink all the whiskey. Watch your whiskey turn into tears. we'll chug all the beer. In the evening, we'll drink all the whiskey. Watch out. Whiskey turned into tears.
Byron Donalds. Give it to me. is a Republican congressman who is increasingly, as a black man himself, wanting to push the notion that black voters are abandoning Joe Biden, abandoning the Democratic Party, and increasingly supportive of Donald Trump. So an event was set up, and to call it an event is extremely charitable. The term event is doing some heavy lifting here. An event was set up where Byron Donalds went to a black barbershop, and this was going to be an event with Trump, a round table with Trump. But Trump didn't go. Trump called in and was on speakerphone with Byron Donalds. This is how important this was to Donald Trump.
Oh, wow.
And this is...
They even moved their chairs.
Talk about creepy, cringeworthy moments. Trump, again, thinks to tell the group of black people in the barbershop that the black community is really loving the fact that Trump was arrested and got a mugshot. And it's sort of become like, it's one of these things where like, you're the racist if you see racism in that. Give me a break, guys. Here's the way it usually goes. Someone like me says, why is it that Trump continues to tell black audiences how much they love the fact that he got arrested and got a mugshot? That seems like Trump is playing on some stereotypical stereotypes and tropes about black folks as committing crime. And then the MAGA people will come in and they go, no, David, that's wrong. You're the racist for thinking that. What Trump means is that he was treated really unfairly by the justice system, just like black folks have been treated really unfairly by the justice system. Okay, well, either interpretation is plausible, but there's something weird about the fact that Trump brings this up every time he speaks to what he perceives to be a black audience. Remember, in the black church, it was mostly a white audience, but here we actually have a group of Byron Donalds.
Remind me again who's responsible for black people being unfairly treated unfairly by the justice system. Who's the justices? Who's the cops? Who's the people doing the unfair treatment? Remind me again.
Donalds and 5, I guess it's maybe 6 black men. And here is Trump bragging about his mugshot and how much the black and Hispanic community just love it.
But since this has happened, like the mugshot is the best. It just beat Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra by a lot, by the way. Beat him by a lot. But that's the number one mugshot of all time. It's really an amazing thing. Since it happened, the support among the black community and the Hispanic community has skyrocketed.
Right.
It's been amazing. Really been amazing. It's been actually very nice to see.
Mr. President,
you know, it's in one way you say, gee, isn't that too bad? But the truth is, it's really a lovely thing when I see that. We have great support now.
Yep. Thanks to Trump being arrested, black folks just love Trump now. The moment where Trump first called in and Byron Donalds puts him on speakerphone, everything about this event, and it feels weird. I guess everything about this photo op feels so disingenuous.
No, I was just going to pump that to Dr. Carson.
Oh, actually, hold on.
For the administration.
Hello.
Oh,
hey,
Mr. President Trump.
Mr. President, how you doing? Well, I'm going to put you on speaker, but actually a great question just came up. We're talking about regulations and some of the things that can be done to alleviate the regulation burdens on a lot of businesses. But I'm going to put you on speakerphone for everybody to hear. Hold on a second.
Yep.
All right, everybody, you're on with the president.
Hello, Mr. President.
Sir. Hello, everybody. It's great to be with you. I hope I'm being well represented. I have a feeling I am. I know that very well.
I'm not going to answer
so
the
I
question.
hope so.
No, you are, sir.
So as you can see, the crowd at the barbershop is not exactly finding this phone call from Trump super compelling. At another point during this conference call, basically a low-rent Zoom meeting without video, Trump bragged about cutting taxes for the very rich and for corporations, which also didn't really seem to fire up the crowd.
Well, as you know, I cut taxes and regulations more than any other president. We had the biggest tax cut, bigger even than the Reagan tax cuts, and I also cut regulations far more than any other president.
The Reagan tax cuts.
They have put
Great.
a lot of them back already.
Reaganomics has so benefited the black community, right?
We will get them cut so fast.
There you go. So regulations and tax cuts did not really titillate this crowd, but a really strange event. And we are hoping to set up a panel very soon to discuss the question, are black voters turning Trump? We interviewed Adrienne
either.
Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So today we are going to talk about a challenging new situation the president finds himself in. We're going to do this because some footage has surfaced. And right now that footage is just being circulated in certain corners of the internet. But eventually I imagine it might become widespread. So it's best to talk about it now so people are prepared for what they're going to see. Now, the footage, it is zoomed in on the president's hand, and it has dramatic music behind it. And that footage shows the President of the United States with a gold coin in his hand. And he's palming it, and then he shakes this person's hand, and the gold coin is gone. And then he puts another one in his hand, and he does it again. He's palming these gold coins and handing them out to people. It appears that they are trying to imply that the President of the United States was paying people off with gold coins. Because obviously the President of the United States would use gold coins worth like, what, $2,300 to pay people off and do it in public like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would obviously be one possible reason that this would be occurring. Another thing that it might be, maybe, possibly, I know for a fact that it is that those are challenge coins. Yeah. Biden was handing out challenge coins. For those people unfamiliar with custom, in the military and organizations adjacent to the military, there are these coins. The coins can be made by a unit. They can be made by an unofficial group within the military. If somebody is of high enough stature, I'm going to assume the president, counts, they can have one made from them personally. That's what it is. And when this topic was brought up under one of the videos that was posted, it's interesting because the response was that no, it can't be that because challenge coins are only for the military and he's giving them to civilians, and that's not allowed because it's illegal.
No, it's not.
That's not true.
No.
I would also point out, Mr. Military Understander, that the president is a civilian.
Yeah.
Commander-in-chief isn't actually a rank. I don't have anybody on the team that has one from the president, but to get an idea of what they are, they look like that. This one is from the Secretary of Defense's office, presented by the Deputy Secretary of Defense to, incidentally, a civilian nurse. This is an incredibly common custom. How common? Those are just hers. If we were to take everybody on the teams and put them together, it would look like a chest from Pirates of the Caribbean. Any vet, anybody who was adjacent to the military in any way, shape, or form is going to see that footage and know exactly what it is. In fact, they'll probably think Biden's pretty cool for palming it and doing it subtly rather than having them go through the whole take, shake, salute bit.
Yeah.
So, if it's obvious what it is, and this isn't going to gain any traction, why are we talking about it? Because the people circulating this are the people who expect you to believe that they know more than the generals.
That's what I was literally getting ready to say. It's funny how I constantly find myself correcting people who call themselves Christians on the Bible, mentioning the books and proper books and everything. But also, it's funny how it's just funny how the people who claim to know the most about the Bible know the least, and equally funny that the people who claim to be the biggest supporters of the military don't know shit about it, just like the people who claim to be the party of law and order don't know shit about our laws and get mad anytime they get enforced on them.
And they cannot identify an incredibly common custom. And this isn't new. It's been going on for decades. There's even a game that goes with it. That's why the one from the SecDef's office was out, because highest rank wins. I personally, I like the one that I have from the E4 Mafia. I mean, because sure, SecDef is definitely higher up the chain, but who really runs the military? The people circulating this, they're not going to get that joke.
Mm-hmm.
It is important to understand that those people circulating this, they either don't know what they're looking at, or they do and they're intentionally lying.
Your patch is upside down, Bo.
And these are the people who have all of the critiques about how the military should run. I do not know a single person.
Yeah, the game is when you're in a bar, everybody whips out challenge coin. And whichever coin is connected to someone of the highest rank doesn't have to buy. So, or is it lowest rank? The highest rank has to buy all the shots? I don't know. It's a drinking game. The lowest rank. I forget what the highest rank is. Maybe the highest rank has to buy rounds. I fucking forget.
Who was adjacent to the military in any way, shape, or form that
It's common
doesn't
knowledge.
have at least one. Yeah. If you don't recognize this custom, I feel like maybe...
My youngest is in the Air Force and he already got his. Oh, Michael Ironside.
Time to help people customize and save with Liberty Mutual. Forgot my wallet.
Wayfair helps all of us create a home we love.
The Wayfair vibe at our place is Western.
But we all got our...
A lot of these guys you work with, are they guys you still talk to? You still shoot an email? You still shoot a text? I mean,
it's like it's funny because it's like I used to always joke. Michael Ironside is the actor that gets hired when you can't afford Jack Nicholson to play your villain.
I mean, do you become friends with any of them, or are you sort of a guy that works, does the job, mostly just moves on, and you don't really become friends with a lot of people you work with?
No, I'm from Starship Troopers. Patrick Muldoon, who was the guy that got his brain sucked out.
Oh,
which
I
is
know.
Everybody's wet dream. He and I were friends before Starship Troopers. We've done like 4 or 5 movies together. He came to my wedding. I was married 5 years ago to my now wife, my beautiful wife, and he was in my wedding party. And then Ed Neumeyer, who was the writer of Starship Troopers, was in my wedding party. And then Garrett Warren, who's the stunt coordinator on Alita Battle Angel and Starship Troopers and Logan, and he's done all these other things and Avatar and all those things. He was in there too in my wedding party. So those are three guys from Starship Troopers there. And then I work out. I was working when I was living in LA. I was still working out with Jake Busey, and
he's a character, isn't he? Is he a lot of fun?
He's a character. He's a lot of fun. So and Dina Meyer I see all the time at cons, and I'm going to see Michael Ironside and Dina up in Monster Palooza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'm seeing them next month.
Wow.
So do that. So that'll be fun. I still get to see it, and I love Michael Ironside. I mean, I hear his voice all the time when I'm acting, still to this day. So
what's funny is I had a bad experience with Michael Ironside, and I talk about it on the podcast. But it went viral, and it wasn't like I didn't say I didn't like the guy. I thought he didn't like me. I thought he was a little mean or a little bit and maybe he was just playing that character. I don't know. So it blew up into this thing like I hate him. I don't hate him. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think he's a good actor. And it was just like it didn't really blow up, did it, Ryan? I mean, a little bit, but
it's gonna blow up now. It's gonna blow up now.
No, but it's not that
Van Dien defends Michael Ironside against Michael.
It was just a first impression. That's all it was. So I have no real evidence of.
A lot of people have said to me. They go, "He's terrifying," and he does play a good terrifying person, and he does have a personality that if he was
angry, Red Foreman
I
before Red Foreman existed.
Dark side of him, I have no idea what your experience was with him. But when I worked with him, he was a mentor for me, and he gave me, he was always there. He's very positive, very supportive. So I had an incredible experience working with him. I had an absolutely incredible experience with him.
And I love that. I'm telling you, this experience wasn't even like working with. It was just like he was on set. And it was just interaction, and it just made me feel kind of uncomfortable. And nothing he did. It just was a moment where he's like, "Oh, this guy, you're this guy, huh?" And he kind of sized me up, and I was like, "Jesus, man!" And it kind of made me feel like shit. But I don't think he was. Now that I think of it, I think he was just like being a dude. But it just was weird. It just was weird, and I was like, so. It was a little thing, but
He seems like one of those. But Michael Ironside, though. He really does seem like one of those people who, like, even when he's saying something really nice, it comes off as anything but. Definitely. I'm not going down that. That's old.
Business can happen virtually anywhere, but there's
I don't know why I'm not subscribed. I thought it was. Definitely. Any chance you get, check out Itter. Indiana.
How many kids? Two. You like one more than the other?
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Which one's better? Your son? Oh, so it's a gender thing. Is it personality or are you a misogynist? Which one is it? You're a misogynist. Well, at least you know yourself. Yeah.
My daughter, if she has a child with a teen, I got to deal with that.
So you think if your daughter has a child, you have to deal with that, but if your son does, what? He'll skip town, and you're not gonna. It's not your problem. What the fuck kind of ancient fucking laws are you? Fuck, I'm gonna have to trade my daughter and shit. I don't know how many goats I can get for her. His daughter will have severe daddy issues, I can promise you that. There will be some old man that really lucks out. Thanks to your views on raising boys versus girls. How many kids? Two. You like one?
I love the way Stavros does that. The way he... You don't know which way he's going to go with it, and then he flips it back. Like, oh, I thought he was on my side. Nope. Oh my God, I'm not going to watch that. No. That was horrible.
My son Paul broke my heart with a question. He asked, Mom, will you come visit me when I grow up and live outside of California? Why would you want to live out of state? I asked. It wasn't that there's somewhere else he'd rather be. He was just a teenager already worrying that he wouldn't be able to afford to live where he grew up. He's right to be worried. We all face a big cost of living problem. Housing has become too expensive and affordable housing altogether too scarce. The National Low Income Housing Coalition estimates that there is a nationwide shortage of more than 7 million affordable homes. That's not just a problem, it is a full-blown crisis. Washington has bungled this for decades, and nothing is changing. Earlier this year, bipartisan House and Senate leaders promised, quote, the biggest investment in housing that Congress has made in 35 years.
To stop housing from going up
until the deal fell apart. We're back to solving yesterday's problems tomorrow, maybe. Washington insiders might not have a plan, but I do. Let's start with the easiest step. Let's create a housing committee. We currently lump housing issues into the Financial Services Committee, a body focused on Wall Street, banking, and financial markets. But housing is about so much more. It's about shelter. It's about well-being. It's about opportunity, not just about Wall Street profits. Housing should have a dedicated committee. And then Republicans and Democrats on that housing committee must work together to do three related things. First, increase the supply of housing. Second, make housing easier to build. And third, make housing more affordable. Believe it or not, the supply part is pretty easy. Republicans and Democrats alike actually want to increase our housing supply.
And there's already plenty of houses that could just be renovated.
Look at the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act, which would enhance tax.
Okay, so somebody told me that going to Sturgis isn't for me.
Yeah. So I looked online and checked out a bunch of forums, and I was quite surprised at some of the responses that I saw. So I'm gonna ride to Sturgis, South Dakota, and see for myself. And here's my story on how I'm gonna do it. Peace. Trying to button up some things or whatever, but the show must go on. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Leaving Milwaukee was a bittersweet moment, as I had been on high from the Harley homecoming. But now it was time to embark on my second half of my quest, and that would be to go to Sturgis and see what all the fuss is about. And so I packed my bags to get ready to head out, and I was 100% ready for this new experience. And as we left Milwaukee with the sun at our backs, we get on our way. And normally I do these escapades alone, but this time I had a couple of friends join me as we traveled to a new area of our wonderful country. And I was glad they could come. I had my brother Weird Outcast from Georgia, and my homegirl Sister Big Bone from Mississippi, and my club brother Freeze from Alabama. All Southerners with an appetite for adventure as big as teenagers hitting a growth spurt, and we would make excellent time as the sun started peeking above us.
This is how I used to dress 6 months ago, and this is me now, and it's all thanks to my...
Hey man, gas stop. Gink.
All of America. There's so much out here to look at.
So much.
So much out here to look at.
I mean, you can just blow past this if you want to, but I mean, why not sit up here and get a picture with that? I mean, it's just awesome.
So proud, man. She's so proud.
Every time I do something like this, man, I just wish I could just call her, man.
And be like, Ma, guess what?
What's that?
Ma, guess what?
You know, I feel you on that, bro. Left my shades.
It's something that you have to come out and see.
Yeah.
No pictures.
Oh.
There we go. It was definitely worth it, y'all.
Okay. Wait, what? I'm confused. See, I thought he was going.
Over here is Sylvan Lake.
I've put 50,000 miles on it already since I built it. In Minnesota.
I thought he was talking about the Sturgis rally. For real. That's like a whole different story. But then you're not going to be like dealing with like Sturgis natives, those people from all over. Yeah, that was not what I was. Sturgis area is different from the Sturgis road. When you say, "Oh, we're going to Sturgis," yeah. Completely different idea.
Most of my technical aptitude was just playing video games.
ECPI University is helping individuals, even those with minimal computer experience, pursue a future in cybersecurity.
I'm pursuing it now. Look at me go.
Yes, I started the war in Ukraine and Russia.
Did you get that?
Would you rather a democratically elected Joe Biden for a second term or a dictator Trump?
Dictator Trump. Probably have 12 viewers on your gay little channel. Why are you here, you little...
Ooh. Many of you have been asking for
What?
this, so here it is.
And what was the little? What was that? What was that? What was the little bounce he did after? What was that? That was weird. I don't get it. I'm confused.
The beginning of my journey in politics was going to Trump rallies and having... He tried to hold on to power even though he lost an election. He called for the termination of the Constitution. He said that the media outlets should be gone down hard by the government. That's what it means. Okay, which part means that?
I have to find it somewhere.
Trump literally...
I have to find it somewhere. Oh my God.
When it comes to debates on Fox News, it's not about right and wrong. It's about who can yell the loudest.
My heart goes out to Jocelyn's family, and you know, I think these suspects, right? If they're found guilty, the whole book should be thrown at them. This is a very heinous
death penalty.
Sure. Right, and it's a very heinous crime. But I think that we also, too, in this country, we believe in nuance and bright lines. And I think there's a clear bright line between these two individuals that you're watching on your screen and an infant that crosses the border with their mother, who, yes, according to the law that Judge Janine mentioned, would be considered an illegal alien. But they did not make the choice to cross. They crossed with their family, and now all they want to do is assimilate.
We're not talking about dreamers. We're talking about illegals.
No, but yes,
we're
but
not talking about dreamers.
Hold on, I did not. I did not.
You have to be... She doesn't understand how you become a dreamer. She's a moron.
Not interrupt you.
We've known for some time now that nuance is not a necessarily present element of the debates that go on Fox News, but I think this clip really struck me because it's a perfect distillation of how chaotic the debate on immigration is. You have a guy here, Richard Fowler, who is a Fox News contributor and also a senior fellow at the New Leaders Council. He's seemingly filling in for Jessica Tarlov, who usually plays the more progressive, more left voice on Fox News' The Five. In this clip, he's trying to introduce a little bit of nuance to the larger immigration debate, and, you know, we can argue about whether that's a thing worth doing on Fox News, but he did attempt to do it, and I think it's worth breaking down.
According to the law that you quoted, an infant that crosses the border would be deemed an illegal alien. Yes, they would. It doesn't have an age. It does not have an age differential there.
That's not in this statute.
It does not have an age differential.
Then
does it have an age differential? It doesn't. Exactly.
Know. You're pivoting.
I'm not pivoting. I'm telling you exactly what's on that paper you just read. So, like I was saying, I can clearly see there's not an age differential on there. So, like I was saying, if we want to have a conversation about how we fix this problem, one, those guys should be behind bars. Maybe the death penalty if the DA makes that decision. But we also need to be courageous as a country, whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, to say what that DA said at the beginning of this segment. Our immigration system is broken, and Democrats can't fix it alone, and neither can Republicans.
Pretty much at every point in this debate, Fowler is interrupted, insulted, and generally dismissed. And the reason for that is because these anchors don't want there to be any nuance introduced into this argument. Introducing nuance into this immigration debate might also introduce empathy. And empathy is the complete opposite of what these Fox anchors want. Empathy makes their jobs harder because what they're primarily interested in doing is drumming up fear and xenophobia about what's happening at the border. Drumming up fear and xenophobia about what's happening at the border makes it easier to vote for someone like Trump, who claims that he will ease those concerns. In fact, Jesse Waters here even tries to do his best Trump impression.
We have a broken immigration system.
Well, Biden broke it. Everybody knows it.
The chaos around this specific Fox News debate on immigration is a perfect example of the larger debate on immigration. We're never going to get comprehensive immigration reform if one side is completely uninterested in what the other side has to say. In fact, Greg Gutfeld even tries to blame the concept of nuance for what's happening at the border.
No, it's the nuance that brought us to this place. It was nuance that got us to, hey,
debate. You know, everybody should come over.
And this is just one example of how fraught this immigration debate actually is. Recently, Donald Trump proposed a migrant league of fighters who would produce a champion who would then go on to fight the champion of the UFC. Take a look.
These people are tough. They're so tough. Dana White. Did anyone ever hear of Dana White? He's a legend, right? UFC, ultimate fighter, ultimate fighting. And he's a fantastic man. I said, Dana, I have an idea. Why don't you set up a migrant league of fighters and have your regular league of fighters, and then you have the champion of your league. These are the greatest fighters in the world. Fight the champion of the migrants. I think the migrant guy might win. That's how tough they are. He didn't like that idea too much, but actually it's not the worst idea I've ever had. No, it's these are tough people. These people are tough, and they're nasty, mean.
It obviously goes without saying how absurd and inhumane that proposal would be, but that's kind of the point. Inhumanity. Donald Trump and his administration is interested in this kind of us versus them narrative.
He called the migrants nasty and mean.
If he can get you to believe that every single migrant crossing the border poses a threat to the fabric of the nation or whatever, then it might be easier for you to vote for him. And that leads us to another clip where a Fox News contributor attempts to drum up even more of this xenophobia.
And all of a sudden, all this money shows up for illegal immigrants. And by the way, the illegals magically always appear in their shelters, magically always appear in black neighborhoods. The black community in Chicago is going, what the heck is going on? We didn't know there was all this money. I mean, we're raising, as Corey is, from private money, or they're being told there's no money for youth centers to keep kids off the street, or whatever the program is, even the homeless. But there's room and shelter space for illegals. So clearly it's frustrating, but it's more than that. It's revealing. I think a lot of African Americans are waking up to the fact that the Democrats maybe really didn't care about them, that they were just another voting bloc.
Obviously, undocumented immigrants cannot vote. They literally cannot vote. It would take years and years and years for them to gain voting rights, if ever. She's using divide in order to pit communities against each other, all in that same goal of drumming up fear and concern, which in turn is supposed to get people to vote for Trump. But let's remember something here. Trump's immigration policies aren't just xenophobic, they will also hurt the very people he's trying to instill this xenophobia in.
This is the vampire Louis Dulac. All you cowards out there talking about taking a run at me?
Louis.
I own the night.
They were talking about the fact that Trump would be a lot more inflationary. Is that how you view Trump?
Free ticket, you are going to push the fucking front to the line, and if you don't, you are going to let those people who have a ticket push to the front of the line.
Even talk to you? Why did you walk up to us to talk to you? We were minding our own business.
Indians, that's why. Oh, these Indians, they come to America because they want a better life. But they're obviously not living the great life in India.
Almost 2 years ago, we covered this disgusting video out of Plano, Texas, showing a woman racially abusing and harassing a group of women in a restaurant parking lot.
You're the one who came and talked to me. I'm talking with my friends.
Like everywhere I go, you Indians are never live. If life was so great in India, why the are y'all here?
Why does it matter why they're here? Why do you care why they're here? This is the same played out anti.
If your life is so great, God, I wish if I would have been there, if I would have been in that parking lot, I would have said, if your life is so great, why are you acting like such a cunt? Why are you being such a asshole? Why are you out here acting like a dickhead? If your life is so great, why ain't you minding your own fucking business?
Are you skeptical about credit cards? With the Chime Credit Builder card, you don't have to be. There's no credit check and no interest. You easily build credit with on-time payments, and you could see a score increase like this. Join Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
Warrior, whack. Mage, whack. New original hero class that can mix and match abilities and talents from every class in the game to forge your own original hero? Yes. Ascension is a custom whack.
They were all lifted up. Everybody had jobs. Everybody was doing well. We've done ventilators. They were going after me for ventilators. They thought they had us. Number one, the states are supposed to get their own ventilators. There are states that could have bought ventilators. They didn't do it, so they got in trouble.
Yeah, and he also had 16% unemployment rate in Black America, Harris, and now it's down less than 5%. That's what Joe Biden's record is. I mean, the ball is moving forward in a positive direction. Now, again, I know we could debate this, but you can't debate the fact that Joe Biden, when it talks about the bipartisan infrastructure bill, the CHIPS Act, the PACT Act for our veterans, he has delivered for the American people. And it's setting in now in economic policy. And that's why the economy is growing, which is the envy of the world. It is. Oh, that's gotta hurt!
Yeah, this, ladies and gents, is the look of a host that is currently withstanding a full-chested throttling from a producer in her ear telling her to cut to commercial. The truth and Fox News, guys. They usually go together like oil and water, Coke and Mentos, me and tequila after starting with beer. It's not to be trifled with. However, on the rare occasion it happens, it's a sight to behold.
And wages has been outperforming inflation for, I think, 12 straight months, if not longer. So we're seeing some really good things. We still have an incredibly strong job market. Wages are doing well. So I think there's a lot of good things.
He did do well in the polls, better in the Fox poll, better than he's done before. And I think that was mostly independents. And I think mostly because they feel the economy is a little better.
For the first time since October, Fox polling shows President Biden leading former President Trump by 2 points in a hypothetical matchup.
Biden's lead comes as positive views on the economy have now hit their highest level so far of his presidency.
As the country prepares for the first presidential debate on Thursday, Trump HQ are pulling double shifts